Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3:30 p.m. session of the 2024 OpenSimulator Community Conference. In this session, we are pleased to introduce the presentation, History of the Virtual Worlds Museum and the Future of the Open Source Exhibit. Our speaker is Julian Keyframe. Julian Reyes is the founder and director of the Virtual Worlds Museum, dedicated to exploring, preserving, and sharing the evolution of immersive worlds. Julian has held positions at Meta, Cisco Systems, Founders Workshop, and Exponent, and received training through the Oculus Launchpad, Oculus Start programs, and Every Realm Metaverse Academy. The session is being live streamed and recorded. So if you have questions or comments during the session, you may tweet to @OpenSimCC with the hashtag OSCC24. Welcome, everyone, and let's begin the session.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to extend my gratitude to the OpenSimulator community for inviting me to speak. My name is Julian, also known as Keyframe, and welcome to the History of the Virtual Worlds Museum and the Future of the Open Source Exhibit talk. And to be clear, the digital museum is not completed yet. A group of amazing volunteers and advisors are currently building it. It is a work in progress, and I'd like to share its genesis with you. The Virtual Worlds Museum is a digital preservation effort dedicated to exploring and showcasing the evolution of immersive world platforms, both past and present. I began my professional path as a 3D animator in the demonstrative evidence field, creating animations for court trials, engineering projects, and failure analysis. My first awakening and love for animation began as a child and solidified after seeing a 3D animated creature interacting with a 2D character in an episode of Liquid Television on MTV in the early 90s. My love for technology, music, and art stem from my early childhood, and for as long as I can remember, I've been tracking the evolution of technology through its connection through electronic music and visionary art in all of its forms. That is the fulcrum of my research. I founded Keyframe Entertainment in 2004, a company born from my desire to help artists and producers become more visible and share their work. I worked as an artist manager, ran a music label, and I helped creatives grow their careers. Through Keyframe, I was fortunate to collaborate with the electronic dance music industry and transformational festival communities, utilizing technology to create dynamic storytelling experiences. I also produced many events, films, and books about this global culture. Eventually, when I realized that the reemergence of VR was near, and there was a lot of headway in the Oculus development, I learned Unity, and I was accepted into the Oculus Launchpad program, and then my path eventually led me to work at Meta as augmented reality producer in their avatars team. I also worked as an XR producer for companies creating worlds in various platforms. And this is what fueled my research, is seeing the variety of platforms that existed. And as I studied these virtual worlds, I began with an idea that felt both obvious and overlooked. Why not create a 3D visualization of virtual world platforms? I realized that all of these platforms are only being documented in lists and spreadsheets and static websites. That's tools insufficient for capturing multi-dimensional spaces. I've always wanted to create a constellation of worlds where you can actually zoom in and out and see all of the platforms in relation to each other. But before I continue with my story, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the other cartographers of the metaverse. In the 90s, Bruce Dahmer created many videos which are now saved in the Internet Archive and wrote length about virtual worlds at the time. In 1994, the Library of Congress funded a report called Preserving Virtual Worlds. My colleague Henry Lowood of Stanford was part of that effort alongside several universities. I've also been tracking the work of Ryan Schultz and Nick over at K0. His company is formerly known as Metaverse with a D, and they've been tracking worlds for a very long time. And this really became the catapult of my research. I took all this information and the information that I had obtained in creating worlds to generate a list that's more comprehensive and people can understand it in a different way. So what I did is I envisioned a 3D environment where these 3D worlds could be mapped and visualized interactively. And I work with Stephen Van Loon and Ivo Heining and volunteers and advisors on this idea. We felt like such a system could immerse users in the history, geography, and diversity of virtual worlds. The act of mapping platforms became the seed of something larger, a container, but that not only preserves, but also allows people to explore the rich ecosystem of digital spaces. I was in a phone call with my friend Carlos Austin, who's he's a VR filmmaker, and I was talking to him about this topic and recording world hops and portal crawls. And in the middle of the call, I proclaimed that we needed a museum of virtual worlds to track the evolution of this technology as an ecosystem and not as individual domains, because most people kind of find their camp and they stay within that realm. There are many users who utilize different platforms, but I'm really interested in mapping the whole entire ecosystem. The first challenge of this idea of the Virtual Worlds Museum was applying for a .museum URL. This task was not easy, as you have to apply and verify that you are indeed a museum. I didn't even realize that there was such a thing at the time. And after that hurdle, I really wanted to share with the world that this is not a traditional company. This is not a startup. I'm not trying to sell anything. What I'm trying to do is understand and explore this vast ecosystem. And I wanted the world to realize that from the start. I wanted the world to see this project in a different light. A light anchored on the respect of the past, the understanding of the present, and the preparation of the future. And by that, I mean, what we're doing is preserving the knowledge for future generations as we prepare for the proliferation of AI prompted worlds. This is going to change everything. Just like the websites started from, 9 websites to 20,000 websites to millions of websites, something that my colleague Terry Schusler speaks about. And when AI democratizes virtual world building and you could prompt a world into existence, we're going to have a complete proliferation of these worlds. And what I'm trying to do is put a marker underground and really, really understand where we're at this point and prepare for that future. Also, there's another consideration. As much as I love museums, I found them to be boring and they carry such an imperialistic stigma, right? They did a lot of negative things in the past, but my instinct has driven me to redefine the term museum for the 3D internet of the future, right? Why are we going to remain with that kind of outdated concept? Most museums are archaic and they show ancient artifacts, but our understanding of space-time and the advancements of technology are being rearranged every day. So that's part of my mission here, is not only to catalog these virtual worlds, but to redefine that term. Because if you think about it, when you're in a museum exhibit, you're actually experiencing a virtual world, whether it's an Egyptian exhibit, whether it's, some other time period. So the concepts kind of go hand in hand, and I find that very interesting. The website is the first integral part of this project. It has evolved to a treasure trove of different um, uh, resources for the XR community, excuse me, because we feature podcasts, books, case studies, and articles about these emerging platforms. As the metaverse begins to emerge, questions of privacy, inclusivity, and sustainability become more critical than ever. And that's why I also work with the XR Guild with Aviv Arsiv and Amy Lemire and Ivo Heining in really understanding the ethics of virtual worlds. Our mission is to explore, preserve, and share the past, present, and future of virtual worlds. And then our work is a mixture of like the Internet Archive meets a showcase. What the virtual world wants to develop is a global resource for developers, academics, and enthusiasts to understand and appreciate the impact of these platforms. The museum's online book collection is a valuable resource for researchers and creators alike. We're at a point now where authors are actually giving us permission to download their metaverse books directly from our website. It includes foundational works of the metaverse, immersive storytelling, and digital culture, serving as a reference point for anyone diving deep into this field. Colleagues have written books on this subject, and the information is scattered everywhere. And what we're doing is bringing it all together under one website and magnetizing all of the knowledge of virtual worlds. The mission underlies everything we do, from our research to our exhibits, to our programs, to our meta-traversal protocols, as we strive to serve as a gateway of immersive exploration and learning. I feel that a lot of people confuse the term virtual worlds with VR or just games, but the concept of virtual worlds is ancient. Like, isn't heaven a virtual world? Consider Plato's allegory of the cave, or individuals sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons. These are all virtual environments that we collectively co-create. One day, these intricacies will be more deeply explored, but what I'm really focused right now for the Virtual Worlds Museum are the digital virtual worlds that are open and you're not forced into an activity. I'm really focused on worlds where you can create your own world and invite others, and we start the clock at Habitat. And I understand that there's other worlds before that, in the HUDs and the MUDs, but we're starting at avatar-based systems. Diving into the heart of the Virtual Worlds Museum are our 6 exhibits that represent the unique facets of the virtual world ecosystem. And I'd like to describe those to you. The WebXR exhibit is the first, and it invites visitors to explore browser-based virtual worlds that require no downloads or installations. These platforms offer seamless experiences for users to step into environments, and we also highlight meta-traversal abilities to jump from platform to platform. And we created that first exhibit in our rival space, which is a platform out of Austria. Some examples of the worlds we feature there are Frame VR, Nowhere, Captex VR Land, and Spatial. The second exhibit showcases app-based platforms that are revolutionizing digital interaction, from collaborative workspaces to VR experiences. Many of these require headsets or application downloads. So this second exhibit are for experience that you have to download, and some examples are Second Life, Science Space, Rec Room, Engage, and Resonate. The third is the Sunset exhibit, a tribute to the platforms that have been discontinued or lost over time. These sunset worlds represent an invaluable part of virtual world history, offering insight into art, culture, and community innovations that paved the way for today's worlds. We would showcase platforms such as Habitat, Altspace, Alakazam, and High Fidelity, to name a few. I'm hoping to build our 4th exhibit on Roblox, the games exhibit, which will feature information about iconic worlds such as Minecraft, Gaia Online, and Fortnite Islands, alongside global game museums that preserve their interaction of gaming and XR culture. Specialized Worlds exhibits is the 5th of the Virtual Worlds Museum's exhibits. This digital realm will focus on niche virtual worlds. It highlights emerging platforms designed for education, enterprise, AR, your walled gardens, your industrial application, your omniverse. These specialized worlds illustrate bespoke platforms that often go overlooked, including simulations. Some examples of these platforms is Break Room, Cluster, Zepeto, and Dreamwave. Lastly, the blockchain exhibit will explore decentralized virtual worlds and will examine how users are creating, owning, and trading digital assets, unlocking new possibilities in virtual commerce and governance. Now, they've got a really bad rap, but I will do my best to be really objective in the way that we present these worlds. Some of these examples include the Decentraland, Sandbox, Hyperfi, and Somnium Space. These 6 exhibits together form a comprehensive journey through the ecosystem of virtual worlds, offering something for everyone, from casual explorers to seasoned developers. Obviously, certain platforms fall into various categories and change over time. So I am electing a curation council to help track the evolution of these platforms and generate ways to future-proof our project. There have been other attempts to map virtual worlds, and what I want to do is create a system that is sustainable for future iterations. Now we get to open source. The open source worlds play an essential role in this vast ecology. These platforms, WebXR projects, and protocols like OpenSimulator, Hubs Foundation, Matrix, Overte, and vSakai embody the spirit of collaboration and empower communities to build without the limitations of proprietary systems. We're considering potentially categorizing these worlds in the specialized group or creating a new open source category for these platforms. And I would love your feedback and ideas and conversation about this topic. The future of the open source exhibit requires community involvement. For example, do we host it? Where do we host it? What hubs are created? Which builders are interested in working with us? Do we combine WebXR with downloadable? These are all questions that we face for the exhibit in 2025. As part of our ongoing efforts, we're excited to announce the launch of our crowdfunding campaign, January 28th, 2025, and this will support the new exhibits, the open source world's research, and we invite everyone to visit and learn more on our website, virtualworlds.museum. I'm also keen to create a world builder directory and a way for people to book their own portal crawls and world hops. And before I close, I want to share a special project that is near and dear to my heart. It is the Spotlight video series. It is an initiative that features our team of experts, researchers in Kenzo and Seihu, and they go and they chronicle from platform to platform, and we video each of the virtual worlds, and we interview a platform owner and a world builder in a narrative way. Today, we have built 15 hubs in different worlds, and we're going to triple that number by next year. So the objective is to have museum hubs in all of the different platforms. We filmed 5 episodes so far, and they all stem from the WebXR exhibit, but next year we're going to film the ones from the VR applications. So what I want to do right now is just take 2 minutes to show you a very, very quick edit. Usually these videos are from 5 to 10 minutes, but I just brought a 2-minute clip to show you what that looks like.
If you have the URL, we can even put that in chat.
Yeah, can you...
Welcome to the Virtual Worlds Museum, where visitors can learn about the history, evolution, and trajectory of immersive platforms. Join Seihu and In Kenzo as they teleport to virtual realms, speak to world builders, and catalogue each platform for posterity. Their mission is to document the technologies, cultures, and artistic expressions that define the vast ecosystem of virtual worlds. Our journey begins now.
I became a games producer because my parents owned a video games arcade. We do have a legacy as a company, which is that we started with vrland.io, which is a free-to-use web-based virtual world. We call it our demo world, but essentially has been powering creatives for more than 2 years now, in the thousands actually.
My name is Jake Steinerman. I'm the head of community and developer relations at Spatial. And Spatial is an incredible platform for creators of all kinds, whether you're an artist, a game studio, just an enthusiast that wants to build and or explore incredible immersive worlds, experiences, and games on web, mobile, and VR. So we aim to make 3D immersive experience development and discovery really, really easy.
Teleporting to their digital home, virtual worlds, unite exploring dream realms. So in Kenzo, cataloging the scene, digital landscapes.
All right, so hopefully you got to see the videos. I put the URL on chat, so if you want to see the full videos, you can. And the Virtual Worlds Museum is more than just a repository of information. It is a living, evolving space that bridges the past, present, and future of these environments. Again, thanks to the OpenSimulator community for the opportunity to present today and being pioneers in the open source effort. I think together we can ensure the legacy of virtual worlds is not only preserved, but also celebrated and shared for generations to come. I look forward to co-creating opportunities. Thank you very much. You can find me again at virtualworlds.museum.
Thank you, Julian, for your fantastic and interesting presentation on the Virtual World Museum. For those coming up, you won't want to miss our next session, a special fireside chat with Philip Rosedale and Q&A moderated by Mal Burns, which will begin at 4 p.m. in this keynote regions. Check out the full session info, bios, and more on conference.opensimulator.org. And thank you again, Julian, and to the audience.